What's up, y'all? AJ Simmons checking in for another episode of the Clean Biz Network podcast. So, you know the old saying, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. Well, I'm going to tell you this, a person that made that up probably was not the owner of a business, okay? They were probably self employed, okay? Because if
headed to the top, there ain't none of y'all stopping me. Used to say I never get a ring, Charles Barkley. Now I got a wife, got kids, own property. Bubble-eyed beans that look like that be watching me. Okay, I lied about the beans, but that was hard though. I'm still in that black act, but she starred though. Cause that's all it takes. I'm flashing for. I'm on my grind, not no motherfucking fashion show.
If you ever read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, if you haven't, I highly recommend that you do. But if you have, you probably remember the quadrants, right? Where he had the S quadrant, which was a solopreneur. You had the E quadrant, which was an entrepreneur. Was a employee. You had the B quadrant, which was a business owner, and then you had the I quadrant, which was an investor. And so the person who says if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself, that's probably the person in that self-employed quadrant, right? The person who they might have maybe one or two helpers working with them, but for the most part, the business can't run without them. It's not even really a business. It's just self-employment, right? That's the person that has, I don't know, maybe 8 contracts and they clean all 8 of them themselves and they just ride around from all over the city or city to city trying to clean these 8 different accounts, right? And they all over the place. Hell, I've seen people do it with like 20 accounts and they're trying to clean all of these different contracts. And it's like, I'm going to tell you now, that ain't going to get you there. That is not going to get you there. So if you really want to scale up and you're trying to figure out how are these people getting these $1 million companies in the cleaning business, or even not even $1 million, how are they getting to 500,000? How are they getting to 250,000? How are they getting, to that next level that you just looking up to and you like, dang, I'm doing 75,000, I'm doing 60,000, right? But how do I get up to that level? And I'm gonna tell you what you have to do. You have to get over. If you want it done right, you got to do it yourself, and you got to start trusting people. You have to get to the point. I never forget the first time when I had accepted this big contract. It was way over in Norfolk. Most of my businesses that I had was in a city called Chesapeake, right? I lived in Portsmouth, but Chesapeake was like right next door to Portsmouth, right? And so I had like this big industrial complex where it's like a bunch of different businesses in that area, and I had a ton of them all in that one area. So it was very convenient for me to staff because all the buildings were close together. Well, I accepted this one contract over in the city called Norfolk, which was across the water, still close to right beside Portsmouth, but it was across the water a little further. And it was 5 days a week. It was probably the biggest contract I ever had. I don't know how many square feet it was, but it was huge. Though, a bunch of offices back to back to back. I mean, it was huge, and it was like a maze. Like I had to walk through there several times till I could figure out how not to get lost. And then they even gave us the blueprint of the building that way, so we can navigate ourselves and figure out, where we were in the building. That's how big it was. And so when I first accepted that, I already had this other big building closer to me in Chesapeake that we went to 2 times a day. And so that was my main money maker. But then when I accepted this new one, I had to make a decision. I said, you know what? I got this new one now. This old one going to have to live without me until we get the new one staff. So I had to put people into the first one that I had that we went to 2 times a day. And then that second one, me and the guy that I had training to run that one, me and him would go to the new one, right? So then it got to the point where I finally had both building staff, plus these little small ones in between, where I had people had to clean too in between time. So it was probably like the very first day where I had to like have 3 different buildings clean, and I wasn't in any of them. It was a scary feeling. I remember because I watched the video on YouTube the other day, and it reminded me, and I remember it like it was yesterday riding in there because I was coming from the gym, and I remember recording that video. But it was just crazy how I had to trust people to do all of these business at the same time. And y'all know how scary that was to be in a situation where it's like you're afraid because what if somebody calls out, right? What if they all call out at the same time? And now I got 3 buildings and I can't get to all 3 at the same time. What do I do? And the truth of the matter is, you cannot let that thought right there hold you back. And shout out to Liz, by the way, from the Clean Business Network, who inspired me to make this video, because she reminded me too, because she's at that point now where she's about to level up. And, this is her fear of somebody not showing up for work when she got 3 contracts to do at the very same time on the very same day, right? And I'm just trying to tell y'all, this is stuff I've been through already. And I just had to level up with it and accept, look, if somebody calls out, then I'll fill in. Because in the beginning, I had to fill in. Then eventually, I hired inspectors and a manager to step in front of me, right? And so it's all about building a system to where Plan A don't work, what's Plan B? If Plan B don't work, what's Plan C? You know what I mean? And it's like you want to put as many layers as possible in between you and the work. That's what the ultimate goal is. Obviously, in the beginning, you won't be able to do that because there won't be enough money to go around to put that many layers in between. But as you grow, that is the goal. You want to have yourself as many layers as possible in between you and the physical work. That was the goal. So and don't be scared to trust people, man. Like this is going to have to happen in order for you to scale. Go think about it. Any big business that you can think of off the top of your head, think of A and B. Look up A and B. Excuse me, ABM. Look up ABM. All right, they are the biggest cleaning or building services company that I could think of, and they have locations all over the country. Do you think the CEO of that company is worried about if the guy in this Jacksonville, Florida location shows up to clean a building tonight? If his headquarters in New York somewhere? He ain't thinking about that. He's sleeping peacefully because he got systems in place and layers in place, right? You think the CEO of Walmart is worried about if the cashier came to work today, or what if all the cashiers call out at the location? You think he would? No, they're not worried about it. You know what I mean? Think about it. Every single big business that you could think of, McDonald's. You think the CEO is worried about if the employees show up to work to go fry them fries? No, they're not thinking about that. And so that's what you got to get to it. Because you know why? At the end of the day, let's just say hypothetically, they all call out at the very same time on the very same day, right? Conspiracy against you. They want to sabotage you, right? Then what do? What happens? Well, this is what happens. The customer might get pissed off. If you got a great relationship with you, they might not even get pissed off, right? But the customer might get pissed off, and then you have to apologize and then promise to make it up the service as soon as possible. Or B, provide them a credit on their invoice, and then you just pick up on the next scheduled service. That's all. That's the worst that's going to happen, right? Now, the absolute worst is they cancel the contract on the spot. But hopefully, you have a service agreement in place that can protect you from them just dropping you at the instant like that, right? So 9 times out of 10, they signed to an annual agreement anyway, right? So they can't just up and cancel. You just provide them a credit on their invoice and do a makeup clean. You do something, right? Maybe give them a free fogging service, but you find a way to make it up to them. This is when you flex your customer service skills and you go all in to please this customer and make up for that mistake, right? You own up to it. It's simple as that. And ain't nothing wrong with explaining it. So I apologize. We're going through a struggle right now because unemployment. People want to, collect unemployment checks more than when they want to work right now. And this is what happened. I apologize. I'm working on getting it fixed and da 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 da. And you sell the hell out of yourself and convince the customer that, it's an honest mistake and you're doing your best to ensure that it never happened again. That's it. And then you do your best to deliver on that promise. That is it. But you don't sit there and hold yourself back and not accept opportunities just simply because you are scared to trust yourself. Because at the end of the day, like I always tell y'all, if you hire people, right, you interview them, you vet them out, you make sure you go with your gut feeling and decide to give this person a chance at working for you. You trust in yourself once you put them out there and leave them alone. Once you put them out there and you train them up and you leave them out there to go clean, at that point you trust in yourself when you trust them because you're the one that hired them, all right? So don't be afraid to trust in yourself and believe that you can do it. All these other people out here building these $1 million companies and $500,000 companies and $250,000 companies, and you mean to tell me they better than you? No, they're not better than you. They know better than you, right? So if they ain't no better than you, then what's stopping you from doing the same thing? And for some people right now, just simply trusting in yourself that these people would show up, right? Trusting these people to go out there and do what y'all agreed that they would do when you hired them, right? Y'all agreed they're going to show up and go to work, and that's it. So trust them to do so. You know what I mean? Don't try to babysit these people. They grown people. Let's treat them as such, right? As long as you pay them, make sure you pay them as well as you possibly can. You know what I mean? While you still getting a profit, make sure you treat them like an adult. Put some respect on their name, right? And that's all you got to do. And a lot of times that'll keep employees coming back long term, or subcontractors, whatever your strategy is. But that's all it is to it, man. But you have to just accept that you cannot be in control of every little thing. And guess what else? No, everybody ain't gonna clean the way that you clean for your company, okay? Accept that too. Gary Vee taught me a valuable lesson. He taught me that, okay, let's just say you're an A, right? With your cleaning, let's say your grade for cleaning is an A, right? Well, if you hire somebody, let's just say their cleaning grade is what, maybe a B minus or a C, right? Okay, well, as long as that's enough to keep the customer quiet, you deal with it. You just accept it, right? And so what I did with my company was I had somebody, I would have workers in there, and I would say maybe they're C plus, right? Then I would put inspectors. Let's just say it's a 5 day a week account, so I have an inspector come by at least once a week, spruce up any of the little small things that the cleaner is missing, and they'll turn that C plus into a B, right? And that's all you need, just a B. They'll never be the A that I am. So whenever I went and decided to go inspect even behind inspector here and there, then I would go ahead and tidy up the even more detailed things and bring it up to my A level for that moment. To hold it again for another quarter or so until maybe I come back or somebody else at my level goes back, right? But that's it. It's never going to be a A when somebody else is doing it and it's not their company. Every now and then you might get lucky and somebody actually cares as much as you care and they take pride in their work and they can clean that good. But that's just luck. Don't count on it being that way. It's as simple as that. When I worked at Jam Pro as an operations manager, and I used to notice how many cancellation notices we would get. We probably got at least maybe 2 or 3 cancellations per month. And I used to be like, how in the hell? And these were big contracts sometimes too. Sometimes be small ones, sometimes be big ones. But I'm like, how do they survive with all these cancellations? But then I looked at it, I seen what the salespeople were doing. And it's like, yeah, they losing 2 or 3 contracts every month, but the sales guy bringing in 5 to 8 contracts every month. So it's like they outselling what they're losing anyway, and they call that a churn rate. Okay, so you already planning for, okay, I might lose this amount of contracts over this span of time, and then but we're gonna outsell that, and that's all it is, right? And so obviously we're not like, you don't want to lose any customers, right? You don't want to have a bad reputation at all and make anybody unsatisfied. But we understand that you simply cannot please everybody in this world. We understand that accidents will happen. We understand that we might make some mistakes, right? And so you just build and you keep building despite that, okay? So hopefully, like, and especially the smaller you are, the better your reputation can be. But as you get bigger and bigger and bigger, then there will be a higher likelihood of mistakes and bad things happening. And so you just got to be able to build your mental up and build your mindset up to the point where you're able to endure those things and keep it moving. Your day don't end because you lose a contract today. That's all right. You out there trying to get 3 more right now anyway. You know what I mean? And it's not that you don't care about the customer, but it's just simply you understand this is how it goes sometime. We got thick skin. We're going to keep rolling, keep building this the game, right? So that's what I got for y'all today, man. If you really serious about leveling up, then you have to adopt this mindset and understand that your life do not revolve around these customers and don't treat it as such. Okay? Don't let them throw your day off, right? Just stay positive and don't let these employees throw your day off. You get a bad employee, okay, you made a bad mistake. We'll do better the next time, right? Improve our training process and improve our interview process and figure out a better place to pull the customers from. Where are you pulling, not the customers, but the employees from? Maybe you got them from Craigslist. Maybe it's time to switch to Indeed. Or maybe you got it from Indeed. It's time to switch to Facebook. Whatever the case may be, right? But that's what I got for y'all, man. And think about doing some bonuses. All right. Maybe you can, if you got some good workers already, maybe if they can refer somebody as good as them and then person make it past the 30-day mark or the 60-day mark, then both of them get a bonus, right? Something like that. Maybe they get make it past the 90-day mark, right? But that's all I got, man. So check out cleanbusinessnetwork.com if you're ready to get your cleaning business started, or if you're ready to level up. We got a couple different products there that should be able to help you out. And then also check out my mobile app, the Calculated Clean mobile app, available on your smart device. Just go to the App Store and check it out. Calculated Clean. I'm AJ Simmons. Thank y'all. I'll talk to y'all later.